Let me use this rock menu. Hello?
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think I need to switch off my mic. I don't know. Like,
No,
yeah, go
you're
ahead.
on
No
phone.
problem
I
right now.
think it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I explained to you last time, we'll be actually doing the C# basics for the first 3 days, and after that we get on to the OOPS concepts. So once OOPS concepts are over, then we actually get on to ASP.NET. And as I said last time, yes, we will be doing SQL Server as well as part of this course. SQL Server dev codes will be covered along with your .NET stuff. Okay, so let's start. So as I told you last time, like .NET actually supports multiple languages. We talk about always C# or VB.NET, but in reality there are another 40 languages which actually supports .NET coding. The good thing about .NET is that I can develop applications using C# or VB.NET or COBOL.NET or Delphi.NET like this. It doesn't mean they're different. The syntax or the commands are actually same in all these 40 languages. The statements are same across all the 40 languages. It's just that the syntax will differ. So that's the reason. Suppose if you're learning C# today, and tomorrow if you have to do some coding in VB.NET, I'm pretty sure it will be real tough, because the .NET statements are same everywhere. How you type will be different in between different languages. This course will be completely focused on C#, not on VB.NET obviously, and so that's how things will start. And ASP.NET is something using which we develop websites. So we do ASP.NET coding using C# obviously. So many people confuse here. ASP.NET can be done using C# or VB.NET or any other things. So ASP.NET is not a language basically. At the end of the day, C# is the one which we use to create websites. Perfect. So let's start. So I'm opening my Visual Studio 2010, and whatever programs that I demonstrate to you will come to you by email at the end of the session. So all the programs for the entire course I'll be teaching you in a single folder, and that folder comes to you every day. That includes the past programs as well. Okay, so once I'm in Visual Studio 2010, and last time I have already explained you different versions of .NET. I told you like your 1.0 was released in 2003, 2.0 2005, 3.0 2008, and of course 4.0, what we are learning today is actually of years 2010. So of course this course takes you right from 1.0 to 4.0 concepts. But this course will not be teaching all the 4.0 concepts. Let me make it a point, because that way it's a bit advanced. So if you are settled in IT industry for 2-3 years on .NET, then you can try to explore the new features of 4.0 as well. But this course teaches you most of things, like 75% of .NET 4.0 new features, because it's like .NET 3.5 with Service Pack 1 is almost equivalent to 75% of your .NET 4.0. Perfect. So let's start. So once you're into VS 2010, I can create a new project. I can say file new project. In the file new project, you can see there are different languages like C# or VB.NET or Visual C++ or F#. So like this, there are 40 languages. So I'm actually concentrating on Visual C#, and you can see the .NET framework. Very interestingly, it is showing me all the versions of .NET framework on my system. So on a single system, you can have all the .NET versions running. So the good thing is now it is asking me, do you wish to create an application for framework 4 or 3.5, 3.0 or 2.0? Obviously, I'm going for the framework 4. And the first 2 to 3 days, as I said, we'll be doing some C# basics. So I can click on console application. And here, today is what, 9th November. So I'm creating a folder, 9th November 2011, and some 6 a.m. .NET training, and this folder will come to you every day. So I'm trying to name the application as exercise 1. So we have selected C# and console applications, and then exercise 1, and I say OK. So the moment I create this application, already we see some existing code. Again, if you go to View and Solution Explorer, in the Solution Explorer, you can see your programs. Of course, there is only one file called as program.cs. When you double click on that, this file is open. You can always right click on this tab, or you can actually click this symbol to close that code. And again, I can double click on program.cs. And this window, Solution Explorer, has been opened from View and Solution Explorer. Now, there's so much code, so it initially it will be very confusing. So let me remove everything. So I press backspace. So there's nothing now. I can do everything from scratch from here. For the first 1 or 2 programs, I'll be doing from scratch, and then you'll be able to understand later. So most of you, I know, come from C, C++, Java background. So I will try to compare the coding with that. So if you see in the every software has some way of commenting or writing comments. Just like in C, C++, even here I can say this is a single line comment, or I can say this is my first program. This is called as a single line comment, and slash star and star slash is obviously a multi-line comment. Now I can also have a multi-line comment like this. This is my first program, so where your comment is spreading across 3 different lines. So like this, we have a single line comment and a multi-line comment. Of course, .NET has another kind of commenting style called as XML comment. I'll show you that very soon. In C and C++, we start our programs using some kind of hash include something something. So instead of hash include, we'll be using a statement called as using, and then we have to specify some header file name, which is pretty much like say system. Now what is actually system here? I say system is a namespace. Basically we call it as a namespace. And what is a namespace? I would say namespace is a collection of classes basically. Now system is an inbuilt namespace in .NET, and a namespace is nothing but collection of classes. So how do you define a class then? I say a class is a collection of variables and functions. A class is a collection of variables and functions. Perfect. So C# is case sensitive, so you have to type with correct casing. Every statement has to be terminated with semicolon. Perfect. And just like in C, C++, we use main function. We have public void main. This is how we used to type in other languages. But please understand, in C#, the letter M must be capital, unlike in C, C++. And also, this function has to be made as static. You will understand the significance of static and all in just 2 to 3 days time. But today I won't be touching that a lot. You just have to know the coding has to be typed inside the main function. And this entire program must be typed in a class basically. So I'm just giving some dummy class name called as first. So overall we have class name, and in the main function you can actually do the actual coding. Suppose I just want to print some message, nothing else. So I say console.writeLine. This is pretty much like printf in your C language. I say, for example, welcome to C# something. Suppose I'm just trying to print some messages, something like say welcome to C# and welcome to ASP.NET, and then I run the code. You can click on this arrow mark to run the code. Now it has actually executed the program, but we couldn't see the output. Just like in C, C++, we used to say get ch or get char. So here I will use a special statement called as console.read key. So if I write console.read key and if I run the program, you can see the output is there and it's actually waiting. So we have a chance to see the output now. So once you're happy with the output, you can actually close this window. You can see the messages are actually coming to the extreme left side, okay? So if you wish, you want the messages to be positioned at some location. Suppose I want some message in the center of the screen, right corner or left corner like this. Yes, we can position the content as well. So for that, I say console.set cursor position. Let's say some 20th column, 10th row. I can say console.writeLine. I say, for example, welcome. And now if I run the code, you can see the message is actually getting displayed at 20th column and 10th row. First we specify the column and then we specify the row. Perfect. So we have column here and we have specified row. Also, if you wish to set some colors, you can say console.set foreground color. Console.foreground color equal to console color dot white, for example, and console dot background color equal to console color dot, for example, something. Okay, so let's run. So now you can see the background color and then you can see the foreground color. This is how you can actually explore the basics of C#. Of course, the UI this is called as a character user interface. And of course, these days when we are working on Windows, we are very habituated to GUI, the graphical user interface. Yes, when Windows was not there, obviously this was the only UI on which the IT industry was dependent. Basically, this is the only UI we were having when Windows was not there. So the look is like that, but still, very powerful applications can be developed using this kind of approach as well. These days, companies are preferring console-based applications where functionality is very critical and the UI is insignificant for them. So in such cases, they go for console-based applications where they hardly bother a lot about UI. They just want functionality to happen. So still console-based applications are the best options. Okay. Now, so all these are functions like write line is a function, set cursor position is a function, read key is a function. So, but these functions belongs to which class? I said a class is a collection of variables and functions. And these functions, right line and all, belongs to a class called as console. So when I put the mouse on console, you can see, so foreground color is a property of the console class and background color is also a property. Perfect. So what we have learned in this simple example is only console.writeLine statement, nothing else. Obviously, if I remove this, if I comment out this statement, this program doesn't work because now the system doesn't know where is the console class. You can see some red lines here. So obviously, if I run the code, it doesn't work. So now you now have so many errors because now it is not able to find out where is the console class coming from. One option is everywhere I write system like this. That is called as explicit namespacing. This is actually called as explicit namespacing. So we are telling exclusively to the system that the console class belongs to system namespace. Whereas if I remove like this, and now the errors are not there, this is called as implicit namespacing. If I build a solution, everything is okay now. So in this case, the system will automatically find out where is a console class. It will search in the system namespace. So that's called as implicit namespacing. So in reality, implicit namespacing is obviously much slower than explicit namespacing. If I use this kind of syntax, what happens? The system will not find, it will take a lot of time to run this code because it knows where is the class residing. But in this scenario, it actually spends some time in finding out this console class is in which namespace. So comparatively, explicit namespacing is faster, obviously. But still, we don't recommend to go for explicit namespacing. We all like this kind of approach, implicit namespacing. The reason is, what if I have gone for explicit namespacing and later, after you did a lot of code, Microsoft has decided to move the console class from system namespace to some XYZ namespace. Once they move the class out of the system namespace and they put into XYZ namespace, everywhere I need to change the word system to XYZ. If Microsoft has really done that, I would have actually had another using statement using XYZ here. Then system will automatically find out console class is available in XYZ but not in namespace. So this syntax is good in that case. So go for implicit namespacing. Perfect. So that's about the first example. Any questions up until now in this example?
Nope.
Okay, so let's go ahead. So I'm done with my first program. So and also you can try to beautify your program. So let me show you how do I do that. You see, for example, we have the main function. There is some expandable and collapsible symbols. If I click here, you can see it is collapsed, and I can expand again like this. Even for your own code, you can do that. Unfortunately, suppose, imagine in the main function you have written some 1,000 lines of code, and I'm not finding any expandable or collapsible symbols for these 1,000 lines of code. So I can create my own by saying hash region and give some region name, something like, say, printing messages, and we can say hash end region. Now you can see I can close this. Suppose I can say hash region. I can say setting colors, whatever. So now you can see how the code looks very clean now. This is actually the best approach. You might write so many lines of code, but you get confused if they are not organized, or if you have to rearrange them into some regions here. So now we know that this region has got certain functionality, and this region has got certain functionality. So this is how you can actually create regions as well. Perfect. Let me show you some nice thing here. So now I did this entire code in the main function. Okay. So obviously the best approach that we all agree is that if you write some 1,000 lines of code, do not write them in a single function. Instead, split them into multiple functions. But you might say you have already written 1,000 lines of code in this function, so do you want me to really copy paste the code into other functions? You don't have to do that, because Visual Studio is very good at helping out. See, for example, I'm selecting these 3 lines of code which I would like to have them in a separate function. I can right click here and I can say refactor. In refactor we have something like, say, extract method. So when I click on extract method, use a nice name, something like, say, show messages. You can see that's the function name, and I say okay. So interestingly, this code has been removed from here, and it's just calling a function called as show messages. And as I come down, you can see that 3 lines of code is being put into show messages function. Similarly, I don't want all these things here, so I can select those 500 lines of code. I can say refactor. I can say extract method, and this I call this as set colors, something. And I say okay. Now we have another. Now the main function looks very neat now. From the main function, I'm calling show messages function, and I'm calling another function called as set colors. As I come down, I can see set colors function, and I can also see the show messages function. So this is how we can actually work with basic programs. Now all these functions, whether it is set colors or whether it is show messages, system has automatically made them as static. Now what does the name static means here? If you make a function of a class as static, it means that you don't have to call that function with an object of that class. So an instance of class is already available in case if you make it as static, and you don't have to call that function explicitly by saying static. For example, let's say I don't want this show messages to be declared as statics. Okay, I'll remove the word static. So when I build the solution, I actually get an error. it tells me an object reference is required in case if I wish to call the show messages function. But we know this show messages function belongs to which class? First class. So it is trying to tell me that this line is the problematic line. You cannot call this function directly the way I'm calling the setColors function, because setColors is a static function and show messages I haven't made it as static intentionally. So if you have a non-static function, then you must create an object of that class to call that function. So what's my class name? Something like say first, an object equal to New York first. So this is nothing but creating an object of the class. So now I should say x dot show messages. So this is how, if you have a non-static function, first of all you need an object. Using the object you need to call the function. If I have setColors function, I'm able to call it directly. I don't have to have an object in the case of setColors because this is static. So that's how whenever you have static is not compulsory. If you do not put it as static, then you need to create an object of your class by yourself. Like first of x, you need to create an object, and then with that object you have to call the function. So this is how I have given you some 3 to 4 concepts like console.writeLine, trying to split the code into different functions you have seen, and also you've seen how to play with the static concept. Okay, perfect. So it's just a first class, so I don't want to teach you too much, and I'll stop here. I can send you these programs by email shortly, but from tomorrow we will be spending sharp 60 minutes of session, because it's just the first session. If anybody has any things to discuss with me, you can discuss today. Any issues from anyone?
No issues. But how long this complete course will go on?
This is like a 35 hours of course.
Oh, okay. So that means 35 classes, let's say, right?
Yeah, approximately like 6 to 7 weeks. Yeah, because initially I'm planning to teach only for 5 days, but let's see if we can meet on my weekends as well. I don't have any issue. That we can confirm once I get an okay from everyone.
Okay. For my side, it's not okay.
Okay. Haritha and Sharna, you have any questions?
No, I'm fine actually. I like your approach, and I think this would work. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Do we receive the recorded sessions as you mentioned before?
Yeah, I can. Unfortunately, I haven't recorded today, but I can send you this video from other batches. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate it if you could do that,
Yeah.
because then that really helps us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's fine then. So I'll see you tomorrow, same timings, India, 6 a.m. IST. What time is it for everyone? 7:30?
Yeah, my time is 7:30. Yeah. EST, my time.
7:30. What time you starting, right? Okay.
And one more thing, like what will be covering on this session, like complete, this course, it's like ASP.NET and C# OOPS, and
Yeah.
all, or like you said, SQL Server also, right?
Yeah, I won't be teaching a lot of WinForms. That's what I want to highlight.
Yeah, WinForms, because the
Yeah.
WinForms is very rarely used in real time.
Yeah.
Only
What we
ASP.NET,
teach is we teach 100% of ASP.NET.
including, it includes the new concepts of like database concepts, like in 2010.
Yeah. Only thing is I won't be touching a lot of MVC concepts and all, because generally we do for the people who are working on .NET for some time. So except MVC, everything will be covered in this.
About link queue and all, right? Link queue and
Yeah.
framework. Okay.
And also you'll be given an awareness, quick awareness on communication, presentation, vocal foundations as well.
Okay, WCF and WPF as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't be an extensive course, obviously, but you get an idea what these things are.
Okay.
Because each course itself, I teach for 30 hours, only WCF for 30 hours, like there's so many things.
Okay, you have separate course for WCF, isn't it?
Yeah, for the advanced.NET, yeah.
Okay. So,
Okay, guys, so yeah, any other questions?
yeah, that's all for now. Like, yep.
Okay, so that's fine then. So I'll see you tomorrow, sharp 6 o'clock India, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.